Would you prefer to be happy or to know non-duality? I think in the beginning of the Tao Te Ching, Tao Te Ching, it's something like that: thou who speaks does not know, though thou who does not speak knows. And that can be interpreted in many different ways, and it's really, really beautiful. Like, so you could interpret it as in there is no self. Like, so when you as a person are speaking, you do not know. And when there is nobody speaking, then they do know, or it is known. It could be interpreted like that, and it could also be interpreted as in, like, as soon as you try to put this into words, you fail. You fail. I feel like over the last 9 years of speaking about this, like I on the human level have learned so much about the intellectual expression of non-duality. That sounds weird, because the realization that I had wasn't intellectual, even though there was intellectual realizations that happened in this body. It wasn't an intellectual thing, it was an energetic shift. And translating that into words was really difficult. And if you ever listen to my talks, you'll see that in the beginning I was more dogmatic to what I'd been taught. So I spoke more like Roger, or more like Tony Parsons, or Nathan Gill, or Ramesh Balsekar. These were teachers that I followed a lot. Caesar Terrell was another teacher. All men. I had daddy issues, you know. Sorry, women teachers out there. Myself. There isn't. What's so confusing to the person who listens to this and thinks that it's an intellectual understanding, and that if you listen well enough, at some point you'll understand it, is that seems really mind-boggling that I had that shift and I didn't know how to put it intellectually. And so in the beginning I stuck to what I'd been taught, but I wasn't really interested in questioning it myself in my own free time. Like, at first I remember my mind like being like, what the hell, and like trying to work stuff out, but then at the same time I wasn't really interested in trying to work it out. Like, I think that's lucky in a way that there wasn't an interest that arose here where it was like I have to pin this into the intellect. But I then spoke about it. I then presented myself and spoke about it, and so then I had to become more clear intellectually. And over the years, like, I've adapted through my own experiences, through life experiences, through talking about this repetitively again and again, day in, day out. Like, even when you think that I'm having time off or I'm not doing sessions, I'm talking about it personally to people that I meet in my everyday life. It's unavoidable. So it's continuous, the talking about it. And if I stopped talking about it publicly, I think to myself that I would then talk about it more privately to people around me, which might be more beneficial to them. Like, I don't think there would be a lesser talking about it. Anyway, there is a point to that. So over the years, I've begun to understand it, and it's like life presented me, like the external questions, which made me question what I was saying, even though I was doing it live in front of people, because there wasn't really much interest in thinking about it outside of the live talks. Like, when you're doing that repetitively day in, day out, it has quite a profound effect, and you begin to learn all the questions and all the hold-ups, and the questions begin to become very see-through in a way. Like you know that when people say the questions, you've heard it lots of times before, even though they think this is like really coming out from the pits of their own personal being. You kind of have heard it before. It's almost like psychology when you begin to realize that you fall into like psychological brackets. It's the same with this subject. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. And I'm so happy to answer it again and again and again. But so the more that I've spoken, the more that I've questioned the way in which I speak and teach things, my understanding on the intellectual level has grown, and also my particular favour as this body-mind mechanism has grown. So I've detached myself from the ways other people speak, and I've also begun to realise over the years, I really don't know if I'm talking about the same thing as other people. Like when I remember when I first had the energetic shift, it just like nothing intellectually makes sense that I've ever heard from anyone. And I still have that flavour now, but I'm just used to using the words a lot more. Until you have these energetic shifts or these energetic awakenings, that just sounds like nonsense, what I'm talking about. Oh well. Oh well. It also means that everything I say, everything that anyone ever says about this subject is in a way nonsense. What non-duality can do is it can settle down the mind, it can settle down the bodies, it can settle down people's lives. And non-duality is really clever at doing it on lots of different human levels. But it can't actually touch that which is beyond all of that, who you truly are. You can't actually get there with a word. No matter how you describe it, whether you describe it as consciousness, amness, I amness, beingness, aliveness, know me, no division, oneness, transcendence, it really doesn't matter. Not knowing, mystery, whatever word you describe it as can't touch it. And there's no vocabulary which deserves allegiance. Also the same with teaching. There's no teaching which deserves allegiance. If it resonates for you and is having a profound effect on you, then go towards that. But to believe in any way that that is more truth than the sound of the birds singing now, or the breeze, or the warmth, or the hot face, there is nothing which is correct. All teachings are pointing to something that's beyond themselves. All of them. And some people will say that their teaching is more in line with truth, or some would say their teaching is more in line with truth. And to me, that's a beautiful expression of them. It doesn't mean that they're right. They could be right. It doesn't mean they're wrong. They could be wrong. It's just a beautiful expression of them. It's like listening to the bird song and thinking, this is the right, correct song. This is the song we will have to follow. And that's very much in our human DNA, this idea of leadership and this idea of following and the idea of allegiance, that I will give my devotion to one particular path, and as the Christian group, the Muslim group, the black group, the white group, the underdogs, the overdogs, the dyslexics, the autists, as that group, we will conquer life. When they say conquer life, it's actually, you might think that it means like go into war and everything, but actually what they're saying when they mean conquer is the English word. It's like you get these two balls that fall off the oak tree, I think it is, and then you have to like hit them against each other until one cracks. It's not actually conquer as in like get guns and swords and go up in arms against each other. It's like conquer life as in like conquer. Now if I was really amazing editor, I'd quickly show you a conquer image, but I can't because I didn't think I would say that prior to this talk, so I can't do it. To me, this has no allegiance. It has no allegiance. It can be one way and another. I can hear it in the stars. I can hear it in the breeze. I can see it in someone's smile, in the reflections. I can hear it in a really dogmatic, religious teaching, and I can hear it in someone's dance. Like, it really doesn't matter. There is no me, there isn't a me. There is consciousness, it's peace of mind, it's happiness, how to be happy, it's freedom of issues, it's being nice continuously. Could be, but it doesn't really matter because here we are right now in this. Right here, in this.